What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck?
Hello YouTube and welcome to Critics of Controversy. I know you've been missing it for a while, but I, Akuma Soul, am here to indulge you in all of my incredible opinions and factoids. Joining me today will be Mr. Felix Super Incognito. Introduce yourself, sir.
Oh, you already did such a great job of it. I feel like I shouldn't have to introduce myself or talk for the rest of this video, but you know, for the sake of content, let's just get right into it. So you want to tell the people what we're discussing today? Should be obvious from the title and thumbnail, but...
Yeah, it will be, but since we're talking about you, Felix, let's talk about another Felix. Another Felix who seems to have gotten himself into another hole, who seemed to have dug himself into a deeper trench. He recently got out of problems with white supremacy, and I use air quotes around that because we all know that was bullshit. Thanks, Wall Street Times. But we found out that recently, while playing a game of PUBG on Twitch, Mr. Felix, I'm not even going to pronounce the rest of his name because it's Swedish, better known as Pewdiepie, the most popular YouTuber in the world who's ever existed. I think you'll have to cite me on that.
#1 YouTuber is the most subscribers on the site. I don't know if he has the most video views. Those weird-ass toy channels might have surpassed him, but he recently got in a bit of trouble. And by recently, I mean as fresh as of the time of this recording yesterday.
Yeah.
So he was playing, there was this one guy who was being a bit of an asshole to him, or as PewDiePie puts it, a bit of a fucking nigger.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? And this has been said a million times over, right? You can't get on somebody for what they say in the heat of the moment. But I'm gonna have to take a bit of a stance against what PewDiePie said on this. And I know the people on YouTube are gonna be like, Akuma, you said nigger on occasion. Well, I'm black, despite what you may think. Anyway, no. I actually am going to slightly disagree with just immediately jumping to PewDiePie's defense on this. Most of the people I see who are actually jumping to PewDiePie's defense, you know, I follow a few people on Twitter and they had about 18 post rants on how PewDiePie shouldn't be held accountable and how they shouldn't be held accountable for saying nigger and retard. But they said that we're growing up and we're learning things and we shouldn't be held accountable. That's not how that works, actually. I believe that people should be held accountable for making these mistakes, and you should be able to take it on the fucking chin because, number one, you're an adult. If you're going to sit around and say things like, oh, well, I made a mistake, I don't see why I should be held accountable. No, you got to understand that bad shit happens in your life. Bad shit's happened in my life that has sent it down a lot of drains, but I've been able to pull myself up for the most part. I think that PewDiePie saying this was bad, and he should be chastised for this because, you know, he deserves it. That's what I'm saying.
Or as far as I also feel like the repercussions, you know, people shouldn't try to downplay, like, oh man, he's just saying words. They're just words, man. To me and you, they might just be words. To a lot of people, they might just be words. To fucking PewDiePie, it might be words. The N-word, especially nigger, you know, the whole reason why this was controversial, even though you know how many other bad things he's probably said in that very same stream, the reason why is because it's a racial slur, and PewDiePie is like some Swedish white guy. I hate to make it racial, but it just comes off as insensitive. So, you know, certain people are gonna get outraged, and rightfully so. It's their right to get offended at what PewDiePie is saying. And as he is the biggest YouTuber on YouTube, as he is the biggest man on the platform, so to say, he has a lot of accountability. He has a lot of eyes on him, so he should have known not to do this. What makes it worse is how later during that same stream, he's talking to a friend, and he's just like, well, I don't know if he's talking to a friend or if he's just thinking out loud because he realized the severity of what he said. But I still don't think he was thinking very much because, like, sometimes I forget I'm streaming, and you're just making it a billion times worse for yourself by implicating that, oh, if you weren't streaming, you'd be saying nigger all the time. It's like, okay, feel free to do that in private, but just realize the public perception that you're putting out on yourself. And I don't think PewDiePie is racist. He has no real reason to be racist. I don't think he has any racial bias as far as I can tell. But it's just, he's like, you shouldn't take the 12-year-old Xbox Live person who's using his mom's internet's favorite fucking curse word when you're streaming, when you're PewDiePie. Like,
yeah, and here's
what do you think?
Yeah, here's the thing. It's come with the internet itself. It comes with accountability. People believe that just because you're on the internet that you shouldn't be held accountable for certain things. When it comes to somebody like, for instance, saying we should kill the president, which is completely wrong. Number one, because that's another human being. Number two, because just because you disagree with them, trying to kill him, what are you? What is actually wrong with you? I can't even think. There's so much wrong with you. But people saying things like that, and then they're like, oh no, the FBI tracked me down, put my name out on the internet, and now I'm looked at as like a terrorist. What's wrong with the government? No, you let those words, or you let your hands type out those words on the internet. You need to realize that just because it's the internet and you have free speech, I think it was said before, people need to understand the difference between freedom of speech and freedom of prosecution of speech. You can say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that people are just going to let you say whatever you want. You can let whatever you want come out of your mouth, but that doesn't mean that somebody's not going to punch you in the face for being a piece of shit. I'm not saying PewDiePie's a piece of shit. I can't preface it, but let me end it with this, or at least end what I'm trying to say right now. This video is going to keep going, if you can't tell by looking. But let me say this. I don't think PewDiePie is a piece of shit. I think PewDiePie is a decent guy who just let a shitty thing come up out of his mouth. He wasn't thinking at the time. Yes, he said, yes, he used a slur, and if you look back at most of our videos, you'll see all the slurs that we said, which I'm pretty sure it's numerous. But that doesn't mean he's racist. That means he wasn't thinking. But he should be treated like anybody else if they said that. I'm not saying to ruin the guy's career. The guy doesn't.
Right, yeah. That's a big point of this. It's like, because I know it's going to happen, because it happened when he was making jokes. Like, it happened when he hired some people in Africa to say death to all Jews as a joke. And, the media took that out of context and tried to make him out to be a white supremacist, racist, or whatever. And now that he just let the N-word slip, everybody was talking about it like the second after it happened. I know the very same media outlets, the same people, the people who like to get offended for a living. Like, I mentioned there's people who had a right to be offended, but I don't think those same people necessarily overlap with, the people who just are going to go after PewDiePie, and especially not the people who are going to go back to those same advertisers and they're just going to be able to see, we told you YouTube is a piece of shit. Look at this. The top guy is literally saying nigger on his streams, and then all the ads come off YouTube, and then YouTube just plummets. Some people might be into that. I think if you're going that far, you're just fucking up everything for everybody. You're not specifically trying to fuck up PewDiePie anymore at that point, even though you are going. People go far when they're trying to fuck up people's livelihood. He made a mistake. You should call him out on the mistake. Hope that he changes. Hope that whatever, it doesn't happen again. Try to serve as an influence for other people not to let it happen, But to punish him and to punish YouTube, and as a result, all of us on this website by, trying to discredit the legitimacy of his website because of one man. When you think about it, he might be the biggest man on YouTube, but he, at the end of the day, is still one man, and I don't think his sole opinions or whatever the fuck he wants to say or shouldn't say, I don't think that really influences other people. Like, that's another argument, but maybe it's not appropriate for now. But I don't think that you should hold one man accountable for his audience or the website.
No, I totally agree, because it's like raising a child. It's like raising a child. I want everyone to think about it like raising a child, and I don't mean in the fact that, oh, you have to actually think about him as a child. I want it to be thought about in the understanding of it. If your kid were to walk into your room and break something expensive, and break something expensive that you cared about a lot, at that point would you just take the kid and like ship them off to an orphanage? No, you wouldn't. You would be like, no, that's wrong, and that you would give that kid the proper treatment in order for them to understand what they did wrong, but you wouldn't make it so that kid can't live the life that they have right now. You would just do what you can to make it so that kid understands at that point that they did something wrong. You don't destroy a man's livelihood just because he makes a mistake. You make him understand that what he did was a mistake and that he needs to better himself for the future, because what we're trying to do is not destroy other people. We're trying to make them better, and one of the ways you make people better is by giving them negative reinforcement and understanding that's wrong, and then give them positive reinforcement and say that's right. So essentially, I think that this will be the last point. Of course, Super Incognito, you have probably one more thing to say, but what I'm saying is, I think that yes, PewDiePie was wrong. I do not think his livelihood should be destroyed in any way, because this man actually is talented, and also the fact that he made a mistake. It's like, right, whatever. But I do think that he should be held accountable for what he did.
And like, to your point, the one that you just made is like the negative reinforcement, positive reinforcement thing. I don't think any of the latter ever happens really from these same people who are gonna just, nail him to the cross over this. Right before he was streaming, he put out a video. He put out donation links to Hurricane Irma relief funds, and he didn't have to do that, but he's taking advantage of his platform and his audience to try to get relief for that, even though Irma may not have been as destructive of a hurricane as Harvey was, and even though it doesn't affect him personally, and I don't think people commend when these people who fuck up when they do good stuff, and not just to like offset them fucking up, because he did this before he was streaming, as I'll reiterate. But everybody's gonna ignore that, or even worse, they're gonna say that he was doing it to make up for the fact that he said the N-word, even though the time doesn't add up. But that's our hot takes. As of right now, he hasn't said anything publicly about it yet. He probably will, and it's probably just going to be, typical apology. But what are you people watching this, what do you think? Let us know in the comments if you think that PewDiePie did wrong in what he said, or if he didn't do wrong, or if he should be held accountable, or blah, blah, blah. Just let us know.
Yeah, hit us up on social media. As always, you can find me at Akuma_Soul, and you can find my good friend Super Incognito at, please give your Twitter.
At Super Incognito on Twitter, is that so?
And of course, you can find us at OTA Clubhouse. That's OTACLUBHOS. What is it? HOUSE? HOUSE. Yep. Yes. I'm sorry. So OTA Clubhouse on Twitter. Hit us up on there. Hit us up on anywhere. You can always find us. We'll always respond. So catch you next time on Crazy Controversy. Later.
You're a little bit racist.
Well, you're a little bit too.
I guess we're both a little bit racist.
Admitting it is not an easy thing to do.
But I guess it's true.
Between me and you, I think everyone's a little bit racist sometimes. Doesn't mean we go around committing hate crimes.
All right, people, thank thanks once again for watching another Otaku Clubhouse video. If you like what you see, like what we say, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure to share this with everybody you know, your dogs, your fucking animals, your parents, whatever.